Welcome back everyone dito sa latest episode ng Deep Dive. Kasama po natin ngayon si Dr. Gary Ador Dionisio, of course, Dean G. Kumbaga, thank you so much, Dean, for joining us. Unfortunately, I was not able to be there kahapon on the big events, but looking forward to listening more about your points of view about what happened kahapon. So bago natin pag-usapan what is the way forward, what's next, Covadis, among other things, pag-usapan natin din, there was still efforts to push for destabilization. There were people who were hoping to leverage this or hijack this or take advantage of this. Not to mention din, of course, there were also people who were trying to make fun. Oh, konti lang kasi dumating dahil hindi klaro naman gusto nyo, blah 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 blah. But the reality is that overall across the nation, 90,000 showed up. That's not too bad considering everything. And clearly, it was a conscious decision by the organizers and the supporters of these events na hindi magpagamit or magpa-hijack sa mga
Yeah.
nefarious forces. So, din Gary, pag-usapan muna natin yung angle na yan because I think that's very
Okay.
important.
Sige. Of course, babati muna ako sa mga yung regular listener and followers. Magandang gabi, magandang umaga, magandang araw kung nasaan man kayo. Well, maganda yung sinabi ni Bishop Ambo yesterday dun sa kanyang speech. And in fact, he clearly mentioned that he was invited to be part of the so-called civilian military junta. No, sabi niya pa nga, hindi naman kami sanay sa politika, ayaw namin maging Taliban ang Catholic Church sa Pilipinas. So coming from the bishop itself, so maliwanag na hindi pa natatapos itong mga banta for destabilization. I think there's still a clear and present danger to this administration. Unfortunately, yung mga calibrated na pagkilos, for example, ng iba't ibang pwersa na gustong manawagan nga ng reset, even ng resign all perhaps, no, baka sakyan yan. No? So yung nobility, for example, na dapat kondinahin lahat ng uh, uh, top leaders sa ating bansa, yung presidente at yung vice president, eh medyo sinasakyan din ng ilang mga elemento ng ating lipunan that who would like to really weaken this government and magkaroon ng adventurism, either military or civilian junta. At alam naman natin kung sino makikinabang sakaling ma-destabilize ang gobyerno ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. No? So, yun ang sabi natin kinakatakot. No? So, importante na mapigilan pa rin ito at hindi ito matatapos unless nagkaroon ng mga resolution. Siguro din sa Malacanang, kailangan din talaga sabihin ni BBM, ito yung mga may sala, ito yung talagang sinasabi namin na dapat managot, kailangan niya talagang tuldukan niya, no? At of course, yung moral high ground nga ni VP Sara, of course, ang hirap naman manawagan nga na nadudurog itong gobyerno to samantalang, well, alam naman natin yung kanyang naging record sa pagiging DepEd secretary, tsaka yung kanyang vice presidency during the issues ng confidential fund that led to her impeachment. So, still here, hindi pa rin to hindi pa rin to nawawala, Richard. So dapat talagang bantayan pa rin natin ito.
Din, we had a conversation with other folks in our little group, no? Yung mga Team Pinas na yan, about yung INC event the other week. Do you want to juxtapose with that? Ano nangyari doon? Ano nangyari ngayon? Saan tayo ngayon? Kasi it looks like the INC was not, after all, on board with the DDS camp to push for resignation of President Marcos. In a way, what INC was eventually pushing for seems to be similar to what folks were pushing for
Yeah,
yesterday, which is
yeah. Oh,
accountability in accordance with the rule of law.
it's a good analogy, no, Richard, no, na yung what the INC did nung last November, forgot ba yan? 16, 17, no? 3 days activity nila, no? And calling for transparency and accountability. I think ko hindi man malayo dito sa trillion peso march na ginawa kahapon, no? Of course, syempre, makita mo lang maigi yung justification na, mas disiplinado yung INC, so they could master that enough, ano. But end of the day, the mere fact na tinigil nila in the second day, dahil nga sa sabi nila ay nakinig naman na ang ating gobyerno at may mga direct action. So I think naging dahilan 'yon. And para hindi na ituloy-tuloy, no? Or of course, may isa pang kwento rin, may mga concessions din na nangyari or nakuha ang INC sa gobyernong ito. Of course, hindi naman tayo INC members, so hindi tayo privy kung yan ay totoo at kung ano yung mga yan, no? But the mere fact, importante, nakakatulong ang mga ganito pagkilos. Sabi ko nga kanina, This is part of what we call a participative democracy. No? So, democracy in action. At ito yung mga nawala sa atin during the time of Tigong. Would you imagine, walang ganitong mga mobilization last 6 years. Paano may culture of fear? Grabe ang patayan almost every day. So walang lakas loob ang mga tao na lumabas. Except dun sa traditional na May 1, November 30, SONA, but other than that, talagang walang nakagamit ng EDSA people power na may at least malaking bilang, no? Katulad ng mga nangyayari ngayon sa panahong ito. So, yan din siguro yung isang kontribusyon na muling nanunumbalik, no, what we call the active citizens participation, no, which was at that during the time of Duterte, no, it was tame, it was to some extent, no, feared, no, natakot na lumabas yung mga tao dahil nga sa uh, mga palisiya ni dating Pangulong Duterte, kaya siya nakasuhan din ng crimes against humanity.
Well, I mean, archive na si Digong, so separate discussion na. I'm gonna have that with Attorney Dino mamaya. But
Yeah.
balikan natin itong may sinabi kang mahalaga dyan, Dean, no? Kasi parati sa atin, sa mundo natin ng mga Philippine Pol-Sci people, we always say, weak state, strong society.
Yeah, yeah.
Pero to be honest, parang nakita ko medyo humina na rin yung civil society over the past decade kumpara to where it was, at the peak of its powers. And in many ways, nakikita ko may epekto din dito yung culture of fear and impunity na nangyari noong
Yeah.
panahon ni Digong. I mean, I can imagine in any other country kung libo-libo sa mga tao ay pinatay with impunity, you would have 1 million people on the
Yeah.
streets. Pero aminin natin, hindi ganun kalaking taong lumabas. Kaya nga yung September rally ay pinakamalaki siguro sa recent memory since EDSA 2, I can imagine, di ba? Um, Ibang usapan na yung mga organized rally by organized groups, no? But I'm talking about yung spontaneous talagang people march. Um, Pag-usapan natin yan din. Sa tingin nyo ba nagre-recover na ba yung civil society natin by uh, do you see what I'm saying? Kasi obviously, nagpakitang gilas ng civil society even if pinagtawanan yung para mas marami daw pulis kaysa yung isang araw. The reality is nasa recovery mode pa rin ang civil
Mhm.
society natin, no? Parang may pagkaganon, no?
Ako sabi ko nga, alam mo, regardless of the number of people attended, the most important thing for me is the spirit of getting out there, of going to the street, of again flexing our muscle as a civilian or as part of a group community. Tama ka doon. Tama nga naman na yung discussion before na weak state strong society na mukhang parehas na weak, no? So, and at this point, dahil nga mas nabigyan ng espasyo yung mga mamayan na register ng kanilang mga boses, nabigyan ng pagkakataon ng mga mamayan na magmarcha muli, tingin ko nasa unti-unti nagkakaroon tayo ng recovery period. No? But of course, syempre, alam naman natin, ang pwedeng mga dahilan dyan ay, we are in spirit, no? Nasa spirit, pero wala kami in flesh dahil nga mukhang ang iba ay ambivalent. Pwedeng sabihin kasi, ay, may mga nakukulong na, so they are still waiting in the waiting game. So isa yung sa mga pwedeng paliwanag or culturally, pwede nating sabihin na November 30, of course, it's really for Bonifacio Day, mga trade union na lumalabas talaga dyan, tsaka yung mga different political groups. But this time around, nahikayat mo yung simbahan na lumabas nitong November 30, pero baka hindi pa enough. Baka konti pang practice. Kasi alam naman, if for the longest time,
Medyo
nasa fears
rusty,
ka masyadong
ring rust.
lumalabas, yeah. So, kailangan mo siyang practicein uli. So, now, there's a clear issue ngayon nga, yung titignan natin ngayon, no? Parang end all be all ngayon ng anti-corruption. No? Of course, ibang usapin yung how we treat on this. But nevertheless, ito yung naiintindihan ng mga tao, kaya tingin nila, dapat itong pagtuunan ng pansin. But of course, in terms of mobilization, mas political action, mas yun ang kailangan pang uling dagdagan or i-harness. At hopefully, kung meron pang mas malaking mga pagkukulang, halimbawa, sure, halimbawa, itong pangako ni BBM na dapat may mga big fish na makukulong. Kung wala yan, baka, January, mas uling maglabas ng sama ng loob itong ating mga mamaya. Kasi syempre, December 1 na ngayon. So, alam ng mga Pinoy, Paskong Pinoy na. So, isa rin yung siguro bakit medyo ambivalent din, no? Or perhaps, to some extent, meron din credit silang nakikita sa ginagawa ng gobyerno nito. May konting sincerity from their end. Medyo, of course, kulang pa lang.
Absolutely. May mga reaction na dyan na yung iba naman daw, hindi sila na sumali kahapon dahil sa tingin nila sapat yung ginagawa. Sorry, sapat yung ginagawa ng gobyerno. Yung iba naman sa tingin nila, like probably they have done already their duty by coming out on September. Ako naman, dahil I'm now feeling the cost of living, what it can do. So parang stipend lang ginagamit ko dito. I can imagine also yung sinasabi ni Dean Tiangki na EDSA fatigue, no? Kung ikaw ay bugbog
Yeah.
sarado sa cost of living, everyday survival, parang the idea of expecting people to shop every other month or so, when just good enough maybe is being done by the government, could be also a long order. So, I'm trying also to be a bit, parang kailangan natin medyo mas compassionate din dahil mahirap ang buhay ngayon, di ba? Lahat naman tayo
Oo naman yun.
Oh, yun
Yeah.
nga eh. So, para sa akin, siguro yung iba hindi nag-attend in flesh, pero they were definitely there in spirit or at least supportive sila. Kitang-kita natin online, on news, malaki pa rin ang coverage. Baka malaki din ang expectation ng government kaya sobrang overwhelming force ang pinadala nila. So, not necessarily reflective ng true sentimento ng ating taong bayan, yung necessarily numero na lumas. But nevertheless, Gary, this time, nationwide, di ba? So, mukhang malaki yung dumating sa mga iba't ibang LGU, pushing
Yeah.
it to up to 90,000 overall.
Namatao nga sa Bacolod, sa Cebu, and I think in other key cities nationwide, no? Mas dun yung mga malalaking mobilization kumpara dito sa Metro Manila, no? In fact, even in Davao City, meron din tayong news na nakita diyan, no? Kaya, well, to some extent, sa Metro Manila, kita mo nga, linggo na nga lang, pero definitely yung civic duty talaga natin, talaga in crisis din. Kasi nga, tama ka naman doon, no? It's really difficult right now to live in Metro Manila, sa traffic, sa cost ng bilihin, inflation, tapos baka may delay pa yung sahod. No? So yun pa yung mga kinakaharap ng mga ordinaryong tao. No? But ako lang, importante lang hindi nawawala yung spirit. It's still there. Dapat hindi pa rin yun. Kumbaga, kailangan natin yung paypayan. No? Kung pagod minsan dahil nga sa EDSA fatigue, I understand that. Pero mali mo, baka makapag-harness tayo ng new generation, di ba? Ng mga kabataan, ng mga millennials o ng mga Gen Z na siya naman pwedeng pumalit dun sa mga Gen X na katulad natin at sa iba pang henerasyon na pwede na naka-experience ng fatigue. Kasi at least naranasan yung People Power 1, 86 to 2001, tapos itong 2003 kay ERAP, di ba? Afterwards. Tapos ito. So talagang meron kang talagang notion na parang nakakapagod naman talaga. Tapos, so you have to consider also your mental health. O sa pa yan. So yung mga ganyang consideration. But again, the spirit should not be, should not be tamed or should not be lost. Yung spirit for democratic accountability and transparency and participation ng mamamayang Pilipino.
Actually, din, ang pinakakawawa kami mga millennials, mga mas matandang millennials, kasi masyado kaming bata nung EDSA 2. And then
Yeah.
medyo matanda na kami ngayon by the time na dumating itong huling rally na ito. So kayo at saka mga Gen Z, X and Gen Z, you have experience kind of peak of this. Sa amin kasi, I mean, for the millennials, ang experience namin yung kay Napoles eh. Di ba? Yung luneta.
Yeah. Oo.
And to be honest, it didn't end up well, di ba? After that, humina lalo si Pinoy, lalong lumakas ang mga trapo. Next thing you know, you get Duterte. After that, ilang taon na yung naging investigasyon. Next thing you know, Napoles and 11 others biglang napawalang sala yung mga kaso laban sa kanila. Di ba? Next thing you know, mga Jinggoy, lahat yan, napalaya, naging senador ulit. So, I would say there's almost even cynicism, at least sa aking generation for the older millennials. Kaya nga we're also looking forward to see hopefully how the Gen Zs will give us a second chance here. But speaking of this, I mean, we just saw a younger millennial in the person of Zoran Mamdani, right? Pulling off something short of political miracle. And ang interesting sa kanya is very clear siya dun sa kanyang core values na way outside
Mm-hmm.
mainstream. Pero yung kanyang proposals were very practical, pragmatic.
Yeah,
Either
yeah.
cost of rent, cost of... So, hindi kaya baka kailangan din natin ng ganyan yung thrust natin in a sense that good governance plus. You know what I'm saying? Kasi feeling ko mas marami tayong makuhang tao on our side eh. Kasi I think there are a lot of people na medyo naging hindi lang fatigue sa EDSA style rally. Fatigue sila dun sa you know what I'm saying? Like that good governance, very restrictive understanding of good governance na baka hindi na nag-echo sa kanila or they're already too cynical to buy it. But kung itapat natin yan sa cost of living issue, strong infrastructure, baka pag ginawa natin mas pragmatic yung messaging beyond just moral cleanness, kaya nga ang laki ng role ng Catholic Church correctly on this issue, baka naman, I think we could have more resonance. Hindi kaya, you know me,
Yeah.
I'm making a lot of enemies again now on the issue naman of going beyond corruption, right? Which is looking at economic growth, looking at making sure, di ba, inclusive development, blah, 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 industrial strategy. What do you think about that, Dean? Kasi feeling ko for other generation, talagang pasok na pasok yung good governance eh. But I wonder if for the 21st century for now, baka we need to be more inclusive and expansive sa ating policy agenda.
Ako maganda, tama yun. No? I just need to circle back lang yung kay Zoran Mandami nga. No? When I read some of the writings about him, especially after he won the campaign, no? Coming from nowhere, di ba? From 1%, tapos all of a sudden, na-overtake niya, no? Si Como, tsaka of course, ayoko na pag-usapan yung kandidato ng Republican, si Silva ba yun or something. But nevertheless, tama eh, napakasimple lang ng mga mensahe ni Zora, no? Control the rent, creating a bus system, di ba? For transport, para safety ng mga tao, clear ang mga ruta, tapos groceries na accessible, na control ng state. So, very clear. Yung titignan ko kanyang mensahe, ano eh, he ran as as a democratic socialist in a sense, tapos isa siyang Muslim, pero he captures for example, yung New York na kung saan nandyan ang pinakamaraming mga Jewish, no? Even sa Israel ata diyan ata pinakamas marami, no? Parang may ganung ano sa Israel pala. Outside of
Outside
Israel,
Tel
no?
Aviv, outside Tel Aviv, I think
Tel
that's the
Aviv, outside Tel Aviv,
greatest
yeah.
concentration of also Jewish.
Outside of Tel Aviv, no? New York na ang pinakamadami. But, he captured the voters of New York. So, baka may problema ka sa mensahe. Kasi, ito lang, nababasa ko lang uh, kanina dito sa social media, no? May debate pa nga halimbawa yung Luneta Group tsaka yung EDSA Group eh. Which at the end of the day, I think it's not really strategic. So mukhang pinag-aawayan natin yung mga bagay na hindi na ba't natin pinag-aawayan muna in the first place. Pangalawa, syempre, yung nuance. Pagbabating yung nuance. Halimbawa, no, of course, very catchy yung resign all. Diba? Alam naman natin yun. No? I mean, very catchy yan. Pero ano ba talaga ang value proposition ng resign all sa isang democratic governance? Kasi sabi nga, are we inviting, for example, a military adventurism? Kasi yan yung mga formula or are we inviting, baka waiting in vain lang halimbawa ang ating bansa, lalo na. So, yun yung mga dapat nating tingnan. At hindi rin maganda kasi nga, uh, yun na nga, lumit ka na nga, tapos hindi pa na-unify yung panawagan natin. No? Unlike yung, sabi mo nga kay Mandami, we will compare yung kanyang naging kampanya. Very simple, very direct. Governance Plus. Ito kailangan ng mga tao. Kailangan ng accessible na grocery. Kailangan ng kontrolin ang rent sa New York. Kailangan ng bus transportation na umikot doon sa mga community kaya naiiwasan natin ang mga petty crimes kasi kilala natin yung mga umikot. Something like that. So, I think we are somehow problematic in terms of our messaging. At yun ang nagagawa, for example, ng grupo nila former Duterte, no? Nakaka-capture nila yung heart and mind sa mga simpleng mensahe, no? At nag-justify nila yon. So, that kind of skill, yung ethos na tayo ay para sa maayos sa paggogobyerno, makatao, human rights, yet we cannot simplify this into yung bites and tiny bites and pieces na nagiging chewable at maintindihan ng mga tao rather than debating on who's a better slogan the Meta Group or the EDSA Group.
I'm all against, empty, vacuous sloganeering without thinking through what will happen next, diba? Kasi alam naman natin, in a situation of in a situation of vacuum, the most violent, extreme, and organized will always take over. I mean, just look at
Yeah,
history of all revolutions, all transitions. Either
yeah.
military takes over, either some sort of crazy Taliban thing takes over, or some sort of a
That's what
extreme communist
happened.
party takes over. I mean, let's just be honest about it. So I don't know.
ISIS. Yan nangyari, no?
Yeah, it's so my or anarchist, you know what I'm saying? Like hindi naman sa halos lahat ng bansa we saw political vacuum. You know, nature abhors a vacuum, right? Like so almost nakakatakot yung ganyan vacuum. So you have to be very responsible with any form of political transition. So nakikita ko yung mobilization resonance ng ganyan messaging. Doon naman sa mga DDS, klaro naman pag bumalik yung amo nila, ligaya lahat, di ba? Baka pati mga Diskaya, ligaya na rin. Pati si Zaldico, ligaya na rin, di ba? Sa kanila, klarong-klaro eh. It's a very concrete thing. Tanggal si
Precisely.
BBM, happy times are back, di
Ha-
ba? In fact, hindi lang
Happy
happy
days are
times.
here again. Culture of
Hindi na
impunity
happy
are
days.
here again.
Bloodbath na yan kasi
Yun na
babalikan
yun.
tayo lahat ng mga yan, di ba? So that leaves us na neither, with yung mga crazy, let's burn down the house and build something new without figuring out how do we get from point A to Z, nor yung ibalik natin yung mga worst possible people to power. Um, which is difficult. No, which is difficult. Very difficult yung position. And nakikita ko talaga I think even there was even a divine message, like just hold on, like there was the rainbow and everything like that. Um, but yun nga how can we make this more resonant and sustainable para hindi lang ito anti-Diskaya, anti-Zaldico, anti-BBM sentiment? Because ang problema sa rage politics na yan is, rage is good as an initial reaction, but it's hard
Mhm.
to maintain that over time in a healthy, constructive way, right? So you need more than rage. You need hope. You need inspiration, right? Kaya nga sinasabi ko, kailangan idikit yan sa agenda natin for 2028 or if earlier, how to get the next government right. Hindi lang next president eh. Kasi parating inisip na tao, kung si Lenny president, si Riza president, someone good, okay na lahat. Pero alam natin limitadong kayang gawin ng isang presidente kung hindi maayos yung LGUs, hindi maayos yung birokrasya,
I
hindi
agree. I
malakas yung
agree.
civil society. Kaya para sa akin, naturally, ito ay dapat sa isang parang national revival movement na hindi lang good governance eh. Kailangan talaga natin ayusin ang daming butas at nasasayangan din ako dahil isa sa pinag-aaralan ko dito sa Oxford is economic development, sustainable. Parang I fear we might miss out on the train eh. We missed out on the train of industrialization that lifted China, now Vietnam, 'di ba? India naman ngayon ang malakas ngayon. Sayang kung magulo tayo, a lot of investors reach out to me for sentiments, they're concerned about the Philippines. Kung hindi natin ayusin yung bansa natin, baka mangyari sa atin yung nangyari sa Thailand ngayon. Except Thailand is already twice richer than us. I mean, tignan mo yung Thailand ngayon, their economy is barely growing. Investor confidence low kasi ang gulo ng politika nila, 'di ba? Ang corrupt ng politics nila. So we need a national revival kind of movement. What do you think could be the core elements of that, Dean Gary? And how could we... ayoko na idamay. Siguro we have to have a forum later this year. Sige,
Yeah. Well,
before
napaka,
vacation. Let's have a
yeah,
forum on good governance for the 21st century.
I agree. Lalo na, ako lang, titignan ko lang yung behavior pa rin, halimbawa ng mga progressive forces, even in the left group. Parang, I think, medyo myopic pa din ang pagtingin eh. I will say this, sabi ko sa kanila to, kasi halimbawa, iba kasi yung character ng social movement, iba yung mass political party, at iba yung governance. Ibang aspeto yung paggogobyerno. Di ba? It requires evidence-based, it requires technical skills, it requires everything. Hindi to puro slogan, hindi to simple position paper. It's how you operationalize the bureaucracy, making sure that all programs and services are being delivered, no? Down to the lowest barangay. So, yan yung mga hindi pa natin ma-distinguish. Akala natin, no, hindi, kailangan natin ng isang pambansang demokrasya, kailangan natin ng pagkakaisa. And it's not like that. I think it's about time that we really move forward. And kung kita about, yan nga, yung discussion natin sa good governance. When you talk about good governance, ano bang simple niyan? Pagkain sa lamesa, ng bawat Pilipino. Uh, tawag dito, isang kalsada na pwedeng daan ng bawat isa. Hindi binabahang mga eskinita ito yung mga konkretong halimbawa at ito ay magagawa mo kung isang maayos pati ng paggogobyerno. But we failed to articulate this. We failed to capture the imagination of the majority of people to support on us on this advocacy. Kasi nga, baka doon pa rin tayo natatrap pa din tayo doon sa mga diskurso in the past. and we fail to recognize the varieties of, you know, forms of participation, forms of democracy na meron na tayo ngayon. No, especially with the role of technology, role of social media, etc. Kaya tingin ko ako I cannot answer directly your question, but I'm just doing some reflection, Richard, sa
Maybe
yung
we need a
question. No?
forum din. Let's do a forum
Yeah,
sa inyo sa
I
CSP.
agree.
Let's bring over people with divergent points of view. Because
Yeah,
to be honest, I'll spell it out. There was a lot of reaction, for instance, when Dr. Jesus Felipe had that paper about parang worrying about economic contraction. If we, you know what I'm saying? Like, parang how do you balance growth and good governance? And I felt that is potentially a false debate. uh if you can so the challenge there is how can we marry these different considerations together. Hindi lang kasi leaky bucket ang problema natin. Ang problema dito is kung inaayos mo lang yung bucket all the time, hindi ka na pupunta sa sari-sari store, hindi mo na dinadala anak mo sa eskwela, hindi mo na inaayos yung buong bahay. Even if you fix that leaky bucket of corruption here, you might lose trillions in economic output and opportunities there while you're fixing billions of corruption here. This is important. But there are things that are even more consequential potentially for national development and the well-being of people. But yun nga, sabi ko, sana hindi tayo sa social media lang nagdi-debate, di ba? I hope we have a proper forum, maybe din before the end of the year. Like, what could be an inclusive, expansive, and forward-looking agenda that goes beyond just politics of rage and ipakulong yung mga masasama. Yeah, given na yan, pakulong dapat sila. But there has to be something more than that. Kasi 100% sigurado, kahit ipakulong natin lahat ng mga to, Zaldico, Diskaya, whatever, kung andun pa rin yung foundations of the system, yung dynamics, we'll have a worse version of that. I know it because we had Napoles before, right? And then what happened? 10 times worse yung corruption ngayon. It's just gonna get worse unless you go to the root causes. But mahabang usapan yan, and I think it's good if sana tayo, as public policy specialists, experts, consultants, can come together and have a proper discussion on that, no? Nag-freeze yata yung ano ko, nung, Din, andyan pa ba kayo?
yeah,
Alam ko din
Richard,
tumakas
sorry.
ka na sa akin kasi ang dami kong sinasabi. No, I was
Hindi,
just
hindi,
about
nawala. So I just corrected my hotspot. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem din. So I was just saying na maybe we need a proper forum hopefully before the end of the year or early next year. Maybe you guys at CSP, Public Policy School, Benito School of Diplomacy and Governance, maybe we can host at least a small kind of event. Pag-usapan natin in an
Yeah,
intelligent
of course.
fashion. Yeah,
Oo, alam mo, kausap natin yung mga kaibigan din natin dyan na may ibang school of thought. Dito sa idea ni Professor Felipe Gonzalo, no? Former World Bank consultant, etc. No? Of course, tama ka naman, we might miss the boat. We might miss something else, no? But syempre, ang point nga ng iba, meron din tayong immediate na pangangailangan. We need to address immediately, for example, seriously this issue of corruption and how should be addressed at the same time looking at other implications in our society.
yeah. I mean, in theory, it's not necessarily mutually exclusive, no? But how do we harmonize it para hindi siya mukhang mutually exclusive? Because unfortunately, it's becoming parang nagkakaano ba tayo? Are we passing down virus in the ano?
Oo nga, gabi, from Oxford virus to Merville virus.
I think from Cambridge yan kasi over the weekend I had
Oo,
to do
kaya.
some event in Cambridge, so long journey. On that note, thank you so much,
Yeah,
Dean Gary, no? Ituloy natin yung conversation na yan. Let's have more of this hopefully in
sure, sure.
person, God willing, soon dyan sa Manila soon. But also hopefully also here as we watch developments sa atin sa Pilipinas. Thank you so much, Dean Gary Dionisio, the Dean of Benil School of Diplomacy and Governance, where I hope we'll have more engagements, very relevant dito sa discussion natin in
Definitely.
terms of an agenda, an inclusive, expansive agenda for reform and national revival, as much as we're fighting corruption and sana ipakulong lahat ng masasama in the short run. Salamat din. God bless. Talk to you soon po.
Salamat din. Thank you.